Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with making money, big profit for small business. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys what my small business is, and that is antique books. I sell these antique books on eBay, and I have done other businesses. I've done quite a few businesses actually, and this is actually the most profitable one, the most consistent one, and honestly, one of my favorite ones that I do. So right off the bat, I'm just going to say, there are expenses, of course. There's expenses with every single business, but those expenses are like so stinking tiny compared to all the other businesses that I have. So for me, antique books, I'm paying maybe $8 for every single book that I sell. Roughly, that's an average. So this is one antique book. I am paying in expenses, various fees, all that sort of stuff, about $8. For buying the book, I'm paying about $2 on average. But I'm selling these books for at least $25. I've sold them all the way up to $1,600. And again, that's sticking with the average of about $8 for expenses. So as you guys might be able to tell, that's a pretty good profit percentage. That's pretty insane, actually. I mean, it's the most profitable business I have. It's amazing money. And I mean, if you get 10 sales in a day, I mean, you could be making thousands of dollars, at least hundreds of dollars, and it's pretty stinking cool. So for me, I really enjoy doing the antique books. I mean, I'm not just doing it for the money. I mean, that is a big reason why I'm doing it. I wouldn't be in business if I'm not in it for the money, but it's not the biggest thing. I mean, I really enjoy the antique books. I mean, I think they're gorgeous. I love them. So this book right here, The Barbary Pirates, I'm just going to walk you guys through some examples. So I paid $2 for it, and I'm selling it for $30. I mean, that's pretty good profit margin, wouldn't you guys say? Again, that's with the $8 expenses, so selling at $30, that's $22 profit, which is pretty stinking cool. I only do this business just by myself. I don't have employees to pay, so if you had employees to pay, that could impact your profits a little bit, so you might have to sell a little more expensive books, but honestly, it's up to you guys to do how you want to do it. For me, I love this. It's my small business. I am self-employed. It's my side hustle, if you will. If you guys want to do side hustles, this is an absolutely amazing side hustle, and I, again, really enjoy it. You guys will find, if you do it yourselves, that it's really, it makes you feel good to think that you're saving history from going into the dump. And honestly, this is actually where antique books can go, is the dump. I mean, I'm talking books that are hundreds of years old, thousands of years old, get thrown in the dump or in a recycling bin or all these things. It's really actually a little bit devastating to think. For me, I mean, I'm a book person, so that's my thing. So next book, this is Canyon Passage. Again, I paid $2. I bought it from Goodwill Outlet. I'm selling this one book for $50. And again, with the average roughly of $8 per book, that's a pretty stinking good profit margin. Next book is Portrait of a Prophet. It's a Salvation Army book. It's actually sort of cool looking. It's really chewed up, but it's still pretty sharp. And I'm selling it for $25. Paid $1 for it. That's pretty good money. This one I actually bought at a book sale, Friends of the Library book sale. So I do buy these books from different places. I walk everyone through where I get these things on the rest of my channel. So if you guys would like to learn more about the antique book business, of course, please subscribe. Next book is Moore's Works, and this one is from 1851. So it's got a nice leather cover. It's a little soft just because it's the leather. I mean, I stinking love when I can get books from the 1800s because, I mean, I just think they are the most beautiful things. Just absolutely stunning, in my opinion, at least. So, as you can see, it's volume 1, all that sort of stuff. And, I mean, it's got some damage, but, I mean, it's a beautiful stinking book. And I wish my camera was better to really show you guys this thing, but it's not. So this one book, I paid $1 for it. Bought it at a Friends of the Library sale, just like the last one. And I'm going to be selling it for just $30. And admittedly, that's not as much as I sell most of my books from the 1800s for. Generally, I sell books from the 1800s for like $60 or more. But from, get it? More? Sorry, little pun there. Moore's Works was the book. But yeah, generally I sell books from the 1800s for like at least $60. So this one is actually like half the price of the normal ones. But even with that, I'm still making $22 profit. And as I said earlier, that's pretty good money, is it not? Am I wrong? I mean, I'm sure anyone would be happy to be getting that kind of money from books. And for me, I mean, I sell several books a week, several books a day. It really depends on how many books I have listed, how competitive I'm being with my pricing. Lately, I actually have been like raising my prices and being a little less competitive because I'm like, well, I might as well get a little bit more money from this. I'm adding how many books I have listed so I can get like more eyes on my things so I can keep my sales sort of steady as I'm getting more money per thing. Part of me sort of wants to drop my prices again to push more sales, but it's really just up to me, whatever I want to do. And if you guys want to do this business, it's whatever you guys want to do too. That's the wonderful thing about running your own business, running your own side hustle, especially on eBay. Stinking eBay is the easiest thing like in the world, in my opinion, to work with, because it's like, oh, I want to change this one thing. You just got to click a few buttons and you can change it. Like, whenever you want. It's so nice. And like Amazon FBA, it was a lot harder to change things whenever you wanted. So that's what I really love about eBay also. So I already talked about profits. I mean, I'm talking at least 20 bucks, 22 bucks average for profit for these things. Some of them are obviously a whole lot more. None of those books were the multi-$100 books. I don't think I have any of those in arm's reach. That's where I keep some of the books. But yeah, I actually just listed a few books semi-recently that I'm selling for $200 or more. So there's some pretty good money to be had. So with all that said though, I mean, I'm talking profits. So what kind of expenses are we talking about? So right off the bat, eBay is really nice for the fee schedule, all the fees that you have to pay. So I did Amazon FBA beforehand, and I'd be paying like 70%, 80%, 90% just in fees of my sales price. And for me, that wasn't very good. I mean, I'm like, wow, why would I work all this time to give all the money to Amazon? And yes, I understand that that business model is absolutely fantastic and I made a good amount of money on it, but it irked me to give away that much profit. I mean, I'd rather make not 10% on my money. I'd rather make 500%, 200%, 1000%. I mean, for that one book that I mentioned earlier, I bought it for $2, sold it for $1,600. That's a pretty good percentage of return. So that's sort of what I got sort of tainted with my antique book business is, I mean, I was doing Amazon FBA and it's like, oh, a little bit of money here. And then I was doing my eBay antique books and it's like all this money over here. And it's like, wow, forget Amazon. I'm doing all this because I really liked the profit margins. So again, though, back to the fees. So eBay's fees are a lot lower than Amazon and other places. So first off, the fee that you will be paying is your sales fee, the selling fee, like for when it's a finally sells. So that's a fee that you will be paying. There's a list fee. So eBay does give you a certain amount of free listings right off the bat, which is pretty cool. For me, I seldom actually go over. I think I only at the very beginning went over the amount of free listings that eBay gave me. And once you get over that, you have to pay a little bit of money to list your books or whatever else you sell. So it's not a huge fee, but it's a fee. Next fee is a promo fee. So the promo fees are optional, and it basically just makes sure that your books or whatever you're selling gets seen by eBay people, by all the people shopping on eBay. It doesn't guarantee a sale, and honestly, you don't need it to get sales. I don't do it for all my books, and I get lots of sales without doing promoted listings, but sometimes when I want to move a book a little faster, I do promote the listing, and it does help for sure. So that's the next fee that you'll have to be paying, but honestly, that's like the last fee. The next things that you'll have to be paying, though, that are expenses is your boxes for packaging. So you're packaging all these books. For me, I do antique books, so I put all my books into boxes. My buyers love that. I love being able to put an antique book into something safe, because I mean, there are people that do it in bubble wrap and just wrap it in all these horrible things, and the book gets dinged up. It really gets damaged, and you don't want to get a really damaged book if it's an antique book and you just paid $200 for it. So I do boxes for every single book, almost across the board. There are very few that I do in bubble wrap or any sort of stuff like that, just because it's tacky. Everyone else does it. So if you can do a box and make it look good, it's really worth the expense. And honestly, I don't pay very much for boxes. It's actually just a tiny bit more than the padded envelopes. So it's definitely something you guys might want to do. The next thing is shipping. So that's something that you don't have to pay. You can charge the buyer for that. And there's the whole buyer paid or you pay or that sort of stuff. And then you can charge a handling fee on top of that, which can pay for your boxes and whatnot, which is pretty stinking cool. So that's definitely something else that you guys might want to consider. And and the last expense that you probably will have is storage. So as you can see for me, I got a little shelf here. So the books right here are just ones that I haven't listed yet. Not all the ones that I haven't listed, but a good amount of them. And then I have actually a big metal filing cabinet that I put the rest of my books in, or actually half of the rest of my books. I have the rest of them under a table. But I have all these books in all these different places. That takes a good amount of space. And for me, I do it just down in my house. Not a lot of money to spend right there if it's inside your house that you're already living in and if it's an area that you're not really using. So for me, that works pretty well for me. However, if you want to do this in a really, really big way, and for me, I actually was doing it in such a big way that I was considering this for a while, is I was like, oh man, I might have to buy a storage container. I might have to do this, I might have to do that. And storage fees can definitely stack up if you are doing it in a huge, huge, huge way. But honestly, if you're doing it that big of a business, that big, you probably are making enough money to cover it, not really worry too much. So that's just something that you might want to think about if you want to get too big. For me, I ended up downsizing my business and just focusing on more costlier books. So instead of just selling like any book over $15, I was like, well, I don't have a lot of space. I don't like listing these books. I always get dumb offers. So I was like, I'm just going to raise my average book price that I buy to $25, $35 for the minimum, you know? I was shooting for that instead of just $15. And because of that, I was able to cut out this many books of what I used to buy. And now I'm just buying this many. And this many books makes me a ton of money, and it's a lot less work. And obviously, I'm not making as much money as when I was doing all of the books, but I don't have to store as much. I don't have to talk with as many buyers who want to pay me like $5 for a $10 book. It's like, come on, man, that's not worth either of our time for you to negotiate. Stop. So it's really nice when you raise your price also, because you sort of get rid of all the people that just want to make a deal for no reason. So all that said and done, I mean, there are some pretty stinking amazing profits to be had in antique books. I've had a whole lot of fun doing it. It's really a rewarding business, and you get to meet some pretty cool people too. It's really something I didn't think about when I was getting antique books, but it's definitely something I've learned is you meet some really cool people. And honestly, I mean, if you guys are looking for a side hustle, I mean, this is one of the most profitable ones I've done, and it's consistent and it's so easy. Like, you put in the work on Friday, you could be making money on Saturday if you do it right. So it's a really cool business. I stinking love it. And it's a great way to just get like recurring money basically endlessly until you run out of inventory. It's really, really nice. And I mean, I know I've said that like 5 times, and I just don't have other words to describe how much I love this business. It's so good that I've actually talked to my parents about it so much, and now my mom is actually joining in on the business, and I have a few other friends that are joining in because I just don't shut up about it because I like it so much, and that's why I made a whole channel. So I could tell the whole world about it and get all you guys in. Because for me, I'm not doing this just to be like, oh, I have a YouTube channel, da 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 da. I'm doing this because when I can get more people to be buying antique books, that means there's less antique books getting thrown away. And for me, I stinking love antique books. It's like rewarding to me to think that I can grab this antique book and I can think, oh wow, I have 20 other people, I have 2,000 other people, I've done 1,000 people of just other people that are also buying these antique books. And when they buy these antique books, when they are reselling these antique books aren't getting thrown away, because people throw these books away all the time. And when they get thrown away, that's history gone forever. I mean, some of these books, I have actually bought some books where I cannot find any other copy of it in the whole wide world, sorry. Which means I could be holding the very last copy. And I mean, it's a little scary to think that it's sort of up to me to save history, you know? It's like really a cool thought. And I know that's a little bit of a weird way to look at it, but you guys could really be saving history, like literally saving history. So honestly, if you guys would love to do that while making pretty good money doing it, I mean, in my very first few months, first 4 months, I believe it was, I made $50,000 doing this antique book business. So, I mean, if you guys would like to do a side hustle and really dive in, this is really a really good choice. So I hope you guys love what I said. I hope you guys, if you want to join me on the antique book business whole thing, subscribe below, like, all that sort of stuff. And I'd love to see you guys in the next video. I'd love you guys to help me save some history, because if we don't, it's getting thrown away. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope to see you there.